Hello, friends. Welcome all. We just wait for a few more minutes till everybody joins. Um, just- all right, friends. Let us do our 10 minutes meditation. Yeah. Make yourself comfortable. Cross your hands, fingers into fingers. Cross your legs. Gently close your eyes. And relax your complete body. No stress in any part of your body. Meditation is a journey towards yourself. To start the meditation, first we need to relax our body. Sukhasthirasanam. Our body should be very comfortable. After our body is relaxed and comfortable, now we need to relax our minds. Relaxing the minds means cutting the thoughts. Patanjali said, Yogaha chittavritti nirodha or Dhyanaha chittavritti nirodha. We need to empty our mind. The simplest way to empty our mind is to connect to our breath. Observe your incoming breath and the outgoing breath. No thoughts whatsoever, friends. Just 10 minutes. Relax your body and relax your mind and connect to yourself. There will be some soft music. It works like a reminder to be with the breath. Let us all become Hanuman. Let us all win our breaths. Let us all become Vayuputra. Just the natural breath. Just be with your breath. Enjoy being with yourself. Last 2 minutes, friends. Last 1 minute. Last 30 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now slowly place your both hands over your eyes for a few seconds. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes and take off your hands. Welcome back, friends. I hope you all had a beautiful meditation. And first of all, namaste to all. And my name is Madhu. I'm calling from Germany. And today I'm going to share you all what I've learned from Patriji, what I have seen and learned from Patriji. So the first thing I've learned from Patriji is like I met Patriji in the year of 2010. And last time when I was here, I shared you the story of my depression and how I came out of depression after practicing meditation. And in the year of 2010, we had an opportunity that Patriji had to come to Egypt and he stayed with us. And when he stayed with us, along with Patriji, there was one lady called Nina. She has a foundation in Nina Nayak Foundation in Mumbai. And and she's a wonderful human being. I was not knowing anything about her. Uh, she was with Patriji. She came. Many masters came along with Patriji, and as usual, when Patriji comes, I go and press his legs because it's a respect that we give to the elders. So because the work he has been doing and the troubles and the pains which he has in his physical body. So I want to contribute by pressing his legs. And when I was pressing his legs, Patriji asked me, okay, you go and press Nina Nayak's legs. I said, like there was this ego in me that why I should go and do that. Like I don't know anything about her and why I should go and press her legs. So then I because of respect towards Patrici, I said, okay, I went and I pressed Nina Naik legs. So at that time, I've realized that Patrici's message was treat everyone as equal. Don't treat Patrici as only Patrici, like only Patrici as a great master. Treat everybody the equal. If anybody comes to your home, treat them as Patrici. This was a beautiful message, like I have taken from Patrici, and because he's a living example, we can see how he treats everybody, no matter if you're coming from a small village or if you are a rich person. It doesn't matter to him. So this is what I have learned, that we have to treat everybody the same, like Patrici does. And the next one is no judgments and no complaints. So this is one of the beautiful lessons I've learned from Patrici, and I know many of you all have heard him saying that do not judge and do not complain. So we always fall into this trap of judgments. Each and every day we go into this trap of judgments that, oh, this person is bad or this person is good, like we always think like that. And regarding the no complaints, there was one incident which happened in Egypt, that I had a fight with my good friend, and and I was thinking that I was right, and she was thinking that she was right. There was again this clash of ego, and I went to Patriji and I told to Patriji that, Patriji, I had a fight with my friend, like, and he did not say anything. He kept silent. He was so silent that he did not, as if he did not pay any attention to me. That moment, I realized that how silly I am, like how silly we all are, that we go and take our personal problems to Patriji. This is so not fair, to you have to resolve your own issues. You have to come out of your own issues. You should not take all these silly things to Patrici, like, and we should not. And again, there is one more lesson, that we should not judge anybody. I have judged my friend that she is wrong, and I had a fight with her, and I judged her. So that is not very true. You should not never judge anybody. First of all, you should not judge yourself, and you should not judge others. This is what Jesus Christ also had said: "Judge ye not." Don't judge yourself, and don't judge your neighbor or anybody. So, friends, I would like to put these lessons, because this is very, very important that we have to implement in our day-to-day lives. Because sometimes we miss all these things, that like I comes, like I am comes. So we should drop this I, we should drop this ego I, and we should always be in the mode of surrendering and accepting everybody. So today I made a list of points which I have learned from Patrici, and which I have seen and learned from Patrici, and so I'm going to share. This is the second one which I've learned, which is no judgments and no complaints. And there is one more thing which always Patriji says: non-interference and non-violence and non-killing. Non-interference is like you should not interfere in anybody's business. Like if somebody is doing something, you should not go and say, "Oh, you should do this," or this is right or this is wrong. You should never interfere. Never ever interfere in anybody's life. You should not interfere in your wife life, and you should not interfere in your husband's life, and you should not interfere in your kids life. No interference. Non-interference is very, very important in our life, that we have to implement. And there is non-violence. Non-violence is like speaking abusive things to anybody, or we should stop this. Don't violate the situations. So, and then the non-killing part, friends, this is the most important part, which the Pyramid Spiritual Societies movement have been telling us, and Patriji especially had been telling us about non-killing, non-killing of all the animals, birds, and the fishes. So this is very, very important. So we should always have this concept of non-interference, non-violence, and non-killing. So this is one more thing that I put into practice. And there is also which is very close to my heart, this concept of why not. So why not? One time what happened, like I had a very good friend, and she's a German lady, and she was with us in Egypt when we were in Egypt. And there happened one situation that Patriji were there, and it was in the year of 2013 or 13, I guess. So there was this lady, one of ladies who came from India or some other part. So she came, and she was standing in front of Patriji listening to Patriji and this German friend of mine. They were communicating, and this lady was listening. And Patriji shouted at this lady to go and help me in the kitchen. So this German friend of mine, she felt really angry. Like she really felt angry that she felt very bad that how can Patriji shout at anybody? Like Patriji is not shouting at anybody just like that. Everything, whatever he does, there is a reason behind it. So Patriji is shouting for her ignorance, that he's been standing there, not going and helping others. So that is why the Patriji had shouted at her. But this lady, what she did is, like, she went back. She came back to me and she said, Patriji is not enlightened. Like because he's so angry and he's so like this. I said, how can you say that he is not enlightened? And Osho always says, never ever compare to enlightened people. An enlightened person is individual. They are like I always see Patriji as a Parashurama, the overself of Parashurama. Like if we say that Parashurama is not enlightened, then it's not right, right? So Parashurama is an avatar. He is a great entity. So same like Patriji. So never Parashurama was also carrying the anger, the because it was much required. It is much required so that we all can break the ignorance. That is why Patriji shows the anger. So this lady was not knowing about that, and she came to me, and when she told me about this, the next time when Patriji came to Egypt, Patriji was asking about this German friend of mine. How is this friend of yours? I said, because I cannot keep it to myself, I said, Patriji, see, this is what this lady had shared. This is what that lady had felt. So then I said, then Patriji said, okay, no problem. So again I said, why Patriji, why she should have this thinking like this. Then Patriji said, why not? He said, why not? The concept of why not is very important in our life, friends, because in any situation, if we have any situation in our life, like we always think, why is this situation coming to me? Oh, why am I going through a lot of problems? Oh, why? We always have this question, why cannot we think of why not? So if this question is coming to me, or if this situation is coming to me, why cannot we think like it is coming to me to teach something, or to make me realize something so that I can learn from it? Why don't we think like that? Why we always think, why? When we reverse that question to why not, then the whole situation is, like we don't end up in suffering. Because I was suffering, because I was very sad that Patriji is so dear to me. He's a father to me, like, and how can this lady, she can speak about Patriji like that? I did not take it, like I couldn't take it. Then Patricia said, why not? It is her wish to think whatever she can, like it is her free will. Why I have to interfere? Why we should interfere in her free will, saying that she is wrong or she is right? Again, this concept goes back to non-interference, non-judgments. So here I'm judging that why she did that, like why she spoke like that. So friends, this is one of the beautiful concepts that we have to implement in our life, that in any given situation, good or bad, put a question, why not? Why not? So if I wouldn't have put a question, why not, in my life, about the depression which I went through, or the miscarriage which I had been through in the year of 2009, If I would have I've been thinking, oh, why this miscarriage happened to me? Why I would have ended up in suffering. After practicing meditation, I have understood this concept of why not? Why not? Yes, it happened for a reason. Nothing happens just like that. Everything happens for a reason. So we should always have this concept of why not. So this is very important, friends. Please to implement it. And one more thing is we are all not special. Remember this. We are all one and the same. So never think that you are special or you are doing great things that you have to be proud of. No, you should always be that, um you should always be down to earth. You should always be grounded. You do your things, but don't feel that you are special. I was having this very quality that, oh my God, I'm doing so much special things. I'm in Egypt. I'm doing great things. It was initially, friends, But sometimes I'm telling you, sometimes this ego comes in between and it says, oh, yeah, I'm doing great things. No, I always have to ground myself because once we are doing this spiritual discourse or the teachings of meditation to others, we feel great about ourselves. Yes, we have to be happy for ourselves that we are in service to others, but we should not be proud about others that proud about ourselves that as putting this again that I'm special, I'm doing this wonderful thing, nobody is doing like me. So never think like that. You do your part, that's it. You do your part with this open heart. Always be in the mode of serving than expecting. So the more you think that I'm special, because people are all, it's like an expectation. Like you should drop your expectations and you should drop this ego. So I have seen a movie. It's called The Shift by Dr. Wayne Dyer. In that, he says a beautiful thing: ego. You know what is ego means? He abbreviates it as E for edging. Putting the god to putting something to an edge. Like suppose this is the table, and you are putting E. This is called E, edging. God, G for God, God, O for out. The God which is inside you, you are edging that God out. That is called ego. Like the God is never proud about himself. He just does it. He's always in the serving mode. Like Patriji, he is always in the serving mode. So we should always be in the serving mode and not think that special, that we are all special. We are special, of course. If you are special, then everybody is special. Treat everybody the same. Appreciate everybody. So then what happens is you drop this ego, the edge, the God which is inside you. You will never edge him out or her out. You always keep that. You always keep the God within you, right? This is one of the important things. So never think yourself as a special entity or a special being. That treat think if you think that you are a special being, then think about others also the same. That everybody is special. If I am special, then everybody is a special, right? So and there is this test which happened to me in the year of 2011 when we started giving sessions. So it was I have to go to Alexandria. This is where we were staying in Cairo. From Cairo to Alexandria, it is 3 hours. So friends, some people they confirm that they will be coming to the meditation sessions. So I keep myself ready. I call my driver and he will be there for me. And then we get into the car and it's a long journey with a lot of traffic. I go there. When I go there, I find nobody. Nobody is there. The people who said that they will be coming for the meditation session, they are not there. So I used to feel bad, like why this thing happened to me, like I took a lot of effort from coming from Cairo to Alexandria, but nobody is here. Like I used to feel very sad. One time when Patriji is in Egypt, I told to him, Patriji, this is what happened. Like I traveled many times to Alexandria, but nobody turns out. Nobody comes for the sessions. So Patriji said, if if one person comes, 100% comes, or no person comes, your job is to be there because you have committed. This is the matter of commitment, and this is the matter of patience. So you go there, you sit there. If nobody comes, also you sit there and you meditate there and you come back. So we always think that we always have these expectations in our life that if I'm doing this, that means there should be somebody should come. Oh, my efforts are going waste if nobody comes. Oh, like I wasted my time. We always think like that. But remember, friends, your commitment is what is required. Your commitment is what makes people realize to come back, you know. So this is what happened with us. We were so committed. From 2009 till 2016, our doors were 365 days open for everybody. So we were that committed. So when you commit to something, because this is what you love, you spreading about meditation is what you love. If you love what you're doing, then you have to commit yourself. So me and my husband, we have committed that we will do meditation sessions, and uh, and there were times that people come. There were times that 70 or 80 people used to come to our home. Sometimes there is nobody, but still we will not say, okay, today nobody came, so we will not do meditation. No, it is not like that. Or we will not feel bad that nobody came. So we should not ever feel like that if you organize a session and very few people turns out and nobody turns out, you should not feel disheartened. So that is again a test for your patience. That is again that, no matter if nobody is there, but there are higher masters who are present at that time, and they are guiding you, and they are meditating with you. Always remember this, friends. And Patriji, 30 years or 32 years back, when he started his mission of Pyramid Spiritual Societies movement, he started with one person, and the consistency and the commitment he has towards spreading about meditation is what is now the PSSM, where millions and millions of people are meditating across the world. So never feel disheartened that nobody came for your sessions, or like it is not reaching to people. No, you be there. That's it. All right. This is also a very important lesson, and your job is to put the seed of meditation, and it takes time to sprout. So in 2009, when we started this meditation sessions, there were very few people coming for the meditation sessions, but we have sown the seed. When we sow the seed, it will take time. We don't know what is happening in the underground, like what is happening in the ground level. How is the seed germinating? We don't see it. If we don't see it, that doesn't mean that the tree is not coming or the plant is not coming. So it takes time. So after few months or few years, then people see us and they will come back to us. All right, friends, this is always, whatever happens in your life, it's a test for you. It's a test of patience for you. Okay. So, and there is one of this beautiful event which we had done in Egypt. It's called Awake, and Patriji were there, and many masters from across the world. They said they want to be part of this event, Awake, and for this event, um, there is some money, like which needed to be like but master said that they want to contribute their own flight tickets, and we had to not pay for them for the flight tickets. That's so nice of the masters that they did that. And we said, the moment they came to Cairo and Egypt, and we said we will take care of them. So what happened is, like, for that we need some money. Me and my husband, we have decided that it will be from we will do it, and we have announced it to the people that on this particular day, 2 days, this event is going to happen. So for this very minimum amount, we have kept it. It's a 2 days retreat. We have put very minimum amount for this, and we were waiting for the registration. That people register for this event, and it was only 2 days, friends. It was only 2 days before the event. We only have got 5 or 6 confirmations. 5 or 6 confirmations, and we were expecting at least 100 or 120 people. 5 or 6 confirmations. We were what to do, like our I think we were not thinking about the money. We were thinking about this masters coming from across the world. They want to share their wisdom, and only very few people are there to receive it. So then again this thought came. Patriji said, if nobody comes or one person comes, maybe these many people, these many masters are coming for that one person. So this we have thought, and then okay, we have continued, and the day of the event had come, and we had booked a nice hotel where we had to do this event. It was very well organized, and 25 people were turning out, and we got the 25 registrations on the day of this event. And we there were few friends who said they will sit outside the hall, and they will take the registrations. So we had a thought that to put this box called paid forward or a donation box. So we had put it outside along with them, and seeing that, like there are so many students who were really interested to join this meditation event, but they could not afford. For them, this much amount is also very difficult. So what we said to them is like, it's okay, you don't need to worry about the money. If the money is the only problem for you, please do come, and please do come and enjoy the event. That's what we said. Because right from the start, our intention was to reach out to the people, to spread about this wonderful masters coming, because we want everybody to utilize their presence. So this when we announced this, many students started coming, and it spreaded like a wild of word of mouth to everybody, like a fire, like it spreaded. And we were almost 120 people for this event, and we were busy in doing everything. I was taking care of the cookings and all these things, taking if every master is okay or not. I was checking all these things, and my husband was busy in seeing if in the arrangements of the hall and everything was okay. He was there. So we were doing our parts. We were not knowing what is happening with the registrations and everything. So what we did is like, the 2 days events finished, and there were some people who said, like, Madhu, we don't have money, but we want to contribute something. Can we do something? So they said, okay, you check if there is any help required here in this hall. You can be of support. And there was one lady who came to me and who said, Madhu, I cannot pay money, but I can play music. I can sing nicely. I have a guitar and I can sing nicely. So she came, and she said, oh wow, that's wonderful. Like any kind of contribution is a contribution. No need to be, it need not to be only money, or it need not to be only, like, we should not um, confine it to only contributions has to be only in a money form. It can be in any form. If somebody is ready to do some kind of service in printing the books, or writing a book about meditation, or any kind of a service, is a really contribution. So we said we were open to everybody, as if it's a family event. And then when the event is finished, the day had come, so we went to our rooms, and our friends gave us this box, the registration box. So we were seeing everything, and when we were seeing everything, first when we started this event, it was like, only we there was 80% of this we have to contribute from our pocket, and there was only 20% which is covered by this 25 registrations. So, like 80% we have to pay, and like, we were thinking it's okay, fine. And when we started counting the money after the end of the session, after the end of the event, it came to, 10%. After we counted the whole money, it came to 10%. We were so happy. It's not about that we got the money back. It's about, like how the universe is helping us, how the universe is helping when we have the right intention. And then this thing happened. This part is finished. And then after a few minutes, our friend knocks at the door. Hello, hello, Madhu and Ram. Like, we have one more box. We forgot. It's called paid forward box or a donation box. Oh yeah, we forgot about it. Yeah, then our friend, he brought it, and we were just counting how much is there. And when we counted how much is there, friends, I must tell you that it is like zero zero. Like, that means we did not even spend one single Egyptian pound from our pocket. This is what is abundance. This is what we have experienced abundance in our life at that event. you know f- we should always have this mode of serving, always this have this having pure intentions. Your intention is to spread about meditation. Your intention is to share about the joy in reaching to people to gain this information about this event. So when we did that, all the universe contributed, like all the universe took care of us. So this is one of the beautiful experiences, friends. So if you all are doing something, like in the benefit of the society, in the benefit of your community, always have this positive intention. Always have this positive intention. Like, never think that, uh, expectations. Drop these expectations and just do your part. When you just do your part, the whole universe will take care of you. The whole universe will take care of you. This is one beautiful experience which we had. And um, and there is this, I want to tell. I think I've already told about this thing last time when I'm here, but again I will repeat it, which is very important. It happened in the year of last year when I met Patriji in Egypt. Um, so I'm right now in Germany, but whenever Patriji goes to Egypt, I like to go there because Egypt is my second home. I would like to go there and see the classes organized and everything. So last year Patriji were there, and then there is one friend of mine who came from India along with the group of Indian friends, like for which Sai Kumar uncle every year, couple of times he organizes through the pyramid travels. So this guy came and he knew that I play singing balls, I play the instruments. So he went and he told to Patriji that Patriji, Madhu plays wonderful singing ball. So we want to have we have a meditation session with the singing balls. So, like, and sir said, yes, 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 you invite everybody, you invite all the masters, and we will all sit and we will meditate, he said. So I took my singing balls thinking that Patriji will say, okay, now play. I went to sir's room, and everybody started coming. And there was only few minutes. There were only few minutes because they had to go back to the airport. So they were all packing. They were busy, but since Patriji called, everybody came to the room. And when everybody were there in the room, um, sir were asking each and everybody, how was your experience in Egypt? How is the Giza pyramid and everything he was asking. So, but the time is running out, like there was only very less time. And Patiji is asking so many questions, like, and then I say, okay, now everybody close your eyes, he says. Then I thought, okay, now Patriji will ask me to play the singing bowls, I thought. Then he started playing the playing the flute, or I don't remember it rightly. He playing the flute, or he started singing. I said, "Oh my God, why did not Patriji asked me to play my singing balls?" I was deeply hurt. I felt sad. Like, I felt, oh my God, why this thing happened? Like, I felt my ego has been, like, beaten up. Like because I wanted to show to everybody that I play this beautiful singing ball. So it's like this ego, like we think that we spiritual people, we don't have ego, but friends, I must tell you that I have these things, like a bubble. Sometimes it comes out, like I have to break it. I have to say, hey, calm down, like you don't give power to that ego, like you're just be grounded. So this thing happened, and I was so sad, and I was so, feeling very bad. And after everybody left, and I was very silent. I did not speak anything to Patriji, and Patriji could able to sense what is going inside me. And afterwards, it was time for Patriji to leave to airport. So Patriji had the food. I made a food for Patriji, so he had the food, and we had to go to airport. When we were sitting in the lobby in the hotel, so I went to Patriji and I said, "Thank you, Patriji, for breaking, because for us meditators, it doesn't take much time to break our to come back to our senses. Like for a normal person, he will be ending up in suffering. But for me, it just took few minutes or half an hour to come back to my senses to realize what Patriji had done. So then, like I went to Patriji and I told to Patriji, thank you so much for breaking my comfort zones. So when I said this to Patriji said, I did not break your comfort zones. I want you to be comfortable in any given situation. No matter what the situation is, you have to be comfortable. So friends, always remember this point. Only if we have good situations in our life, we will be comfortable. But if we have a bad situation in our life, we don't be comfortable, right? So this is what I have experienced. This is what I have experienced, that why Patriji did not let me play. I was feeling bad. That was my situation. But then after few minutes, then I have come to my senses, and I've realized that no, like he's making me comfortable in any situation. So we should always have this concept of middle path. Don't be too happy, don't be too sad. Be neutral. So this is what I have learned. So always remember that in any situation, to be comfortable in any given situation. Even if there is a birth in your family, be comfortable. If there is any death in your family, be comfortable. Okay, please don't fall into this trap of suffering, because it keeps us more down and down. So this is one of the thing. And back in one more thing which I want to share is, like it happened in 2016 or 2017. I had an opportunity to go to Bosnia, and one of my friends, he asked me, Madhu, would you like to contribute in cooking, like cooking for people? I said yes, because I love cooking. I love cooking because I have learned it from Patriji. Then we had to go there, and then I got to know, when I went there, I got to know that I had to cook for 120 people. So that was, like that was very surprising for me, because for that conference, there were 120 people from across the world. They will be participating for the Pyramid Conference there, which is happening in Bosnia. So I was thinking, how will I be able to cook for 120 people? I know how to cook for 30 or 40 people, but I never cooked for 120 people. How will I do that? So again, I went to Patriji, because he's a mentor to me, and I usually don't ask questions. I'm very or I don't have any questions. Only if I have doubts about these things, I will go and share it to him. So this thing, I went and shared it to him, that Patriji, a friend asked that I have to cook for 120 people. I've never realized it. So will I be able to do that? Then Patriji said, don't limit yourself. Never limit yourself. We are all unlimited beings. Why you put yourself in a box that you can only cook for 40 people or 30 people? Now it's an opportunity for you to break that box of your limitedness. Like, don't set the boundary that you can only do this. You can do much more. So when he said that, okay, I went and I started because friends, I have to cook from the scratch. I have to cut the vegetables, and I have to do the cooking, and I like to do the serving also. So I have to do all these things. So I went there and I started doing it. I must tell you, friends, that there was no effort, there was no pain because I was really enjoying what I was doing. So there was no pain. And after this few days or 3 or 4 days of this conference, everybody started coming to me, and they really saying that they really enjoyed the food and everything. So they went to Patriji and they told that we really enjoyed. We had a food for the soul, which is meditation and the classes which the other masters have been telling, and we also have a very wonderful food for our bodies. So they shared about this thing that we have felt that when Madhu is cooking and serving us, we felt that the mother is cooking us and feeding us. So this wonderful comment of others had made me, feel so happy that I'm able to be in service to others, and everybody really enjoyed it. That made me so happy. And Patriji looked at me and he said, "Oh, look, you became a mother to many," he said. So this is one of the beautiful things which happened. And always remember, friends, you are unlimited beings. We are all unlimited beings. Never put a boundary. Never ever limit yourself. You can do much more. Don't ever say that I will only teach meditation to these people, or I will only teach because to my family only. No, don't limit yourself, because uh, there is much need that we have to go out and spread. Many people are in need. So let us spread. Don't be limited, okay? Be unlimited. And always be in the mode of serving, no matter what. Always be in the mode of serving. Be grateful for what you have and what you are experiencing, and serve. This is the best thing. If you are serving to others, you are serving the God. So, and recently I've read this I've heard this conversation by Patriji, and there is this one more master from Kolkata. They're talking, and this lady asked Patriji, "What is the difference between acceptance and surrender?" This topic touched my heart so much. What is acceptance? So then Patriji said, acceptance is whatever happens in the physical world, you accept it. Anything happens in the physical world, you accept it. That is acceptance. And what is surrender? Surrender is nothing but commit to yourself, surrendering to your inner self, surrendering to the soul which is inside you, surrendering to the God which is inside you. Acceptance is external, but surrendering is internal. Always surrender and always accept. Acceptance is a key. In any given situation, if you want to have a happy life, physically and mentally, you have to accept whatever is happening. And if you want to have a spiritual life, surrender to your spirit, surrender to your soul, surrender to your God which is inside you. All right, friends, this is this is one of the beautiful topics, and I think I have shared what all I have experienced. And there is one more thing which is very important: money and spirituality. Money and spirituality. So I'm an artist. I paint, and there was this thing happened that like people started liking my paintings and they want to buy my art. So that made me in a that put me into a confusion that um, because again I started thinking about others. I started thinking that what others will think about me. Oh, this girl is teaching meditation for free, but she's taking money from her art. Like this thought was running in my head. So then I stopped painting for few months, and then Patriji came. And when Patriji came, Patriji asked, "Oh, show me your new paintings. What's happening with your art and all these things?" He's asking me. And when he asked me, I said, "Patriji, I stopped painting because there was this clash in me that I have been thinking about others. And then Patrici took a stick and he bet on my hand and he said that don't mix two things, like spirituality, teaching meditation is your passion. It is what is making you happy. Money is very much required. Your art is very much, you have to do art. You have to earn money. You have to, when you earn that money, use it for a wonderful causes, but never say no to money. Never ever say no to money. If you have any talent within you, you do that. You do it. You put a charge to it. But don't say no, because you're teaching meditation for free, everything should be free. No, it's not like that. Don't be too generous. Don't be like that. So you should have money so that you can use it for the wonderful causes. This is also very much important, friends, that we always put into this trap, or we always have this confusion that how will I do it? Money and spirituality, how will they go together? No, yeah, this is what is very important, right? So, friends, I think with this I want to end, and my heartfelt thanks to Patriji and to all the wonderful and the beautiful masters who had been in my life all these years, and I've learned a lot of lessons. I think I've made it short. I've cut it short, and but there are lots of things to share, and I felt these are the most important things that we can implement in our life. So I want to repeat once again what I've shared, like in a very few lines. The first thing is treat everyone as the same. Treat everyone as one, and have no judgments and no complaints. This is the second thing. And the third thing is non-interference. We have to learn non-interference, non-violence, and non-killing. And always have this attitude of why not. Don't always complain in that I have why. Always think otherwise, why not? All right. And the other thing is, like, we are not special. If you think that you are special, everybody is special. Drop your ego. Ego is, again, how we abbreviate the ego, edging God out. So never edge the God which is inside you out. Always keep the God within yourself. All right. And whatever happens in your life, even if you're teaching, if you're a teacher of meditation, or if you're doing anything, so don't expect anything. So expectations always leads to suffering. So always be learn patience. Learn patience. If nobody comes, on every 100 people come, behave the same way as you do always. Okay. And this is one of the things. And always remember that if you have a proper intentions, if you have a right intentions, the whole universe showers its abundance to you in every form. If you want this, the universe will provide you that, because you are doing God's job. I always say that we all, whoever are teaching meditation, we are doing a highest thing. We are doing God's job very, very easy, because God wants everybody to be happy, everybody to be healthy. So I'm teaching meditation, reaching out to others and spreading about this meditation. That is what makes them happy and healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So always have this intention, always have this intention, proper intention. And when you have this proper intention, you will have this abundance from the universe. And always be comfortable in any given situation. Follow the middle path which Buddha had shown us, which Patriji had shown us. Patriji, what Patriji says, we have to be a sannyasi living in the samsara. We have to be a sannyasi. Sannyasi means, like, we should not run away from here to some Himalayas and be a sannyasi. No, we have to, leading the family life. We have to be a sannyasi. That you have to be, recently I have heard Patriji talking that we have to be like this, the leaf of this lotus, and the drop which is on it, it is not there, but it is still there. So we have to be like that. We have to be always in a mode of detachment to any situation. All right, friends, this is one of the important things. And be comfortable in any situation. And remember that you are all unlimited beings. We are all unlimited beings. We all have the power to do whatever we want, whatever we want. Don't confine yourself that you can do only this. We can do many, many things only if you can change here. If you can change this thought process, then everything will be taken care. Then you can see wonders happening in your life. And then always be in the mode of serving. Always serve others. Serve others. Be gentle. Be always bowing to others. That do 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 help others so that they can help themselves, right? And always have this acceptance to this physical world and surrenderance to the internal world. Right, these are the most important topics, friends, and I want you all to give it a try. So there are again 5 E's in our life. I want to end this talk by saying this 5 E's which Patriji had said. First E is experiment, and the second E is experience. The third E is enlightenment. Fourth E is evolution, and the fifth E is enjoyment. First of all, you have to do an experiment. Whatever I have said it today, do it an experiment. Write it down, do it an experiment. And after you experiment, you have an experience. Oh, yes, Madhu, whatever Madhu had said, it is right, or maybe it is wrong. So you will have an experience over it. And when you have an experience, you will have an enlightenment. What is enlightenment? Wherever there is a light, light is nothing but an information. So when you have this information that, oh, Madhu is right or wrong, so you have some information. That means that light is showered on you. That is enlightenment. And with that, you evolve, you grow. When you grow, what happens is you enjoy. At the end, you enjoy. So today, whatever I have said, the points, whichever I have said, so you implement in your life, practice it at least for a week, change all these thought processes and see how your life transforms. If it brings any good to you, you implement in your life. It doesn't bring anything good to you, it's okay. Like at least you have experimented. Without experimenting, you cannot say that, like, oh, Madhu is faking, or, like it's not possible. No, don't say that. First of all, anything, if anybody is telling, anybody, have always this concept of experimentation. We are all spiritual scientists. The point of spiritual scientist is only to experiment. What does a scientist to do? He always keeps on experimenting new things. Okay, what if I mix with this, what happens? So we should always be in the mode of experimentation. When we be in the mode of experimentation, there is a chance of experiencing many things. When there is a chance of experiencing many things, we have this enlightenment feeling. And when we have this feeling of enlightenment, we evolve. We evolve. We don't consider ourselves as only humans. We evolve from it. And at the end, we enjoy, right? So remember this, friends. 5 E's. First, experiment, experience, enlightenment, evolution, and enjoyment. All right. So with this, I want to conclude. And if you all have any questions, you can raise your hand or write it in the chat box. So I will like to answer it. Yeah. Yes, I will. Yes, Manikanda ji, I'm unmuting you. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Ma'am, first of all, it was great experience of your with Mr. Patriji. So I just want to ask you one simple question that, for
Mm-hmm,
example, if you are helping some other person in
mm-hmm,
any other manner, if you
mm-hmm,
say, for example, if you have some amount and you want to help other person without any expectations, and if you felt that after
mm-hmm,
helping the other person without any expectations, and if you get some negative result over there in your life, for example,
mm-hmm,
something
mm-hmm,
happened in your life with your without your consciousness, or you are not able to understand whether I'm able to adopt those kind of situations or something like that. But something happened. So is it the same thing that how you help the other people with the same kind of an what you say without any expectations? How you help the other person the same result? If you're not able to get, you will be in the same position. If you see yourself like that, I mean, how you're helping the other person in the same way. If you see yourself like that, have you got my question, or you want me to
No,
phrase it?
no, no. I did not get the question.
All right.
You mean to say that if you are helping somebody, if you are helping somebody with the monetary thing,
Okay, I'll
and
come back to you once again
mm,
with the question. So my
all
question
right,
was, you help an unknown person
all right.
without any expectations, but
Mm-hmm,
you got a negative result.
mm-hmm,
You will see the same happiness. You will be in the same happiness, or you will
mm-hmm,
feel sad, disappointed. Oh man,
mm-hmm,
I've helped the other person without any expectations,
mm-hmm.
but some negativity happened to me. So is this right?
Mm-hmm.
Not supposed to
So,
happen, but
I think you've answered you have answered your own question. See, the first thing you said is when you are giving uh, anything to somebody else, when you are helping others, you said no expectations, without expectations, you said,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So when you don't have any expectations, even if it comes, the negative result comes, you will be balanced. Only if you expect that the other person have to come back to you or feel gratitude that you have helped him or all these things, then we end up in suffering. So if we don't have any expectations, as you said initially, then we don't end up in suffering. As we humans, we do have initially, before practicing meditation or rigorous practice, we do have these kind of expectations or getting into the suffering. But when we practice more and more, your your job is just to do. Your job, as I told you, your job is just to serve. Don't think, not thinking that if the other person will accept you or don't accept you.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
have one more question that
Yes, please.
the same question relevant to the first question. If I'm saying in the to the outer world, if I'm saying that I'm helping the other person